Thank you, sir. Waste to Wealth. The mission is one of the 9 scientific missions of Prime Minister's Scientific Technology and Innovation Advisory Council, which is spearheaded by the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India. The mission aims to identify, develop, and deploy technologies to treat waste to generate energy, recycle materials, and extract resources.
Program online. A very hearty welcome to all of you on the occasion of this National Science Day. Central Road Research Institute, which is a constituent laboratory of CSIR, was established in 1952. We have a journey more than 70 years, and the institute works with 7 R&D divisions. There are 5 divisions which is on the harder aspect of development of the road infrastructure in terms of, like, we have lectures, then geotechnical engineering divisions. Then we have 2 other divisions, but very important, transport planning and environment, traffic engineering and safety. And the institute has some of the state-of-art equipments, which includes mobile bridge inspection unit, driving simulator, network survey vehicle, falling weight deflectometer, large wheel tracker, ground penetrating radar, and large-scale cyclic pavement testing facility. We have developed over a period of time several new technologies which has been utilized in the road sector. Just to highlight a couple of them, one is the mobile bridge inspection unit, which is very useful for undertaking bridge safety studies, driver diagnostic simulator for safety studies, cold mix technology, soil nailing technique, white topping for city roads and intersections, Resupape technology, utilization of bio-oil based rejuvenator for hot mix recycling, cement grouted bituminous mixes. So these are few examples of the technologies which we have developed. And CRRI has indigenously developed the mobile cold mixer cum paver, and it has been utilized by the Border Roads R&D at Shillong for a demonstration project. We have another equipment, Patchil, which is patch fill, which is going to be, which can be utilized for pothole repair. And these machines were inaugurated by Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari, in 2022. And these technologies, they have been successfully transferred to industries. The scientists have developed a mobile app called Kisan Sabha and Arogya Setu for addressing supply chain and freight transportation management issues of farmers and the medical profession. Then there are a couple of challenging projects which CRRI is doing. Some of the projects are on the border areas. So those projects are like the project on landslides and sinking zones on road from New Sobla to Selatedrang, Uttarakhand, near the China border, which is sponsored by CPWD. Then CRRI is also actively involved in designing and suggesting mitigation measures for construction of roads in India-China border and other strategic areas of the country. CRRI has also taken up a very innovative project on development of airfield pavement management system. Besides roads, we have also engagement in airfields, also engagements in the railways. Recently, the institute has taken 2 major projects. One is the road safety audit project of Karnataka. Then the other project is the Odisha Road Asset Management Systems, which is a very sizable project. And Government of Odisha is considering to sponsor 2 more projects. One is on road safety audit, the other one is on bridge engineering structures related project. And typically the state government is going to sponsor something close to 50 crores rupees for these 3 projects put together. CRRI is also accredited for conducting road safety audit training programs, certificate course, which is the mandate is from Ministry of Road Transport and Highways and Indian Roads Congress. I deeply appreciate the support of Ministry of Steel along with the 4 industry partners, AMNS India, JSW, Tata Steel and Rashtriya Ispat Limited for the development of steel slag roads in the country, with a mandate to share the know-how for different steel slags of these industries. In fact, this is a very unique model. We had the support of the ministry along with industry partner. In CSIR-I stands for industry. We have a mandate for substantial industry engagement, and this is a very unique model by which we are working in a very focused way to develop technology, to share know-how to the industries directly. With each of the partners, we are trying to use their steel slag for the road construction. At couple of places, the road construction has been completed. In certain cases, the road construction are under construction. So today, we are signing the agreement, the first agreement with AMNS India to share the know-how on steel slag road construction and similar
about the CSIR Technological Initiative for Steel Slag Road and Steel Slag Valorization as road making aggregates, I invite Shri Satish Pandey, Principal Scientist and Project Leader of Steel Slag Road Project, to kindly enlighten us on this aspect. Pandey ji.
रिलीज करने के लिए इंडक्शन बुकलेट तो हिसाब से प्लीज के तो फाइल तो अगर करना तो चीज़ें ही ना
So, very good afternoon to all the august dignitaries in the auditorium, and it's just a brief overview of the work which we have done under the collaborative research study sponsored by Ministry of Steel along with 4 major steel industries, namely ArcelorMittal, Nippon Steel India, Tata Steel, JSW and Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited. So, as we all aware that like in India we have around 19.5 million ton steel slag generation annually through various integrated steel plants, and this quantity is expected to reach 60 million ton by the end of 2030. So disposal of solid waste is a serious challenge to a steel industry, and in this regard the CSIR-CRRI has worked upon with the Ministry of Steel and 4 major steel industries to develop the steel slag valorization technology for the development of processed steel slag aggregate. Now this aggregate can be utilized as a substitute of natural aggregate in road construction. So in India around 1.2 billion ton natural aggregate every year are required for construction and maintenance of different road network. This quantity is expected to reach to 3 billion ton by the end of 2025. So a huge quantity of natural aggregate is required. For that we have to rely on unsustainable mining and quarrying, and which is causing serious environmental impact. So this material like this processed steel slag aggregate can provide a good alternative in this direction. Now what are the major challenges associated with steel slag utilization? So steel slag depending upon the steel generation process can be broadly classified into 3 categories. One is the LD slag, which is also called basic oxygen furnace steel slag. Second one is the electric arc furnace steel slag, and third one is the cone arc steel slag. So in India 60% steel slag production happens through BOF route, while rest of the production is through the EAF and the cone arc route. Now due to the presence of excessive free lime content into the slag, it shows volumetric expansion, and in that case if this unprocessed slag is utilized for road construction, then this sort of cracks can be generated. It's a bituminous mix which has been prepared through unprocessed steel slag. So therefore the raw slag cannot be utilized. This sort of pop out can come on pavement surface, and which can deteriorate the pavement in a very shorter span of time. So we have to look upon, we have to process the slag like there should not be any free lime and free MgO associated volumetric expansion in the slag. This expansion can be in the tune of 10 to 14% depending about the amount of free lime and the MgO inside the slag aggregate. The second challenge is associated with the potential of tufa formation. It is called calcium carbonate deposition. Since this free lime due to efflorescence process form a calcium carbonate deposits on the slag pavement layer. and this particular phenomena can impede the drainage characteristic of the pavement layer. So we have developed the process methodology so that this sort of calcination should not happen on the slag aggregate surface in long term, and the drainage characteristic of the pavement layer should remain intact. So we carried out this particular trial at NS33 Tata Steel using process steel slag aggregate of Tata Steel Jamshedpur emanated through our process in the granular layer, and monitored its performance for long. The third major issue is the presence of metallic iron content. So if the metallic iron content is beyond the threshold limit, then this aggregate can be corrosive enough, and in a shorter span of time this sort of corrosion can happen on the slag surface. So we developed this customized magnetic separation process depending upon the quantum of iron in the slag, so that the entrapped metallic iron in any case should not be more than 2% inside the any slag process slag aggregate mass. And fifth at last is the environmental concerns. So the steel slag can emanate high pH leachate as well as the heavy metal. Depending upon the source of iron ore through the steel production is happening, different kind of heavy metal can be found in the steel slag. So therefore we have to process the slag in such a manner like these heavy metal should always be in crystalline phase. It should not be in amorphous phase. So in this direction we have given the customized slag cooling processing methodology to convert the slag highly crystalline in nature in place of amorphous slag. So these are the typical environmental impacts. So unprocessed slag industries, in order to convert the raw steel slag as a processed steel slag for processed steel slag aggregate for road construction. Yeah, so this is the typical process, like through a raw slag we get it converted the processed steel slag aggregate, and now this processed steel slag aggregate is more or looks like a good quality natural aggregate, and even it cannot be differentiated like whether it is a natural aggregate or processed steel slag aggregate from the contractor point of view. So in this direction, it's a sort of a translational research program. We constructed couple of steel slag road projects across India. The first road project was inaugurated by the then Honorable Steel Minister Shri R.C.P. Singh at Hazira, which we built along using processed steel slag aggregate of ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. So this is a conventional section which we constructed at the environmental and sustainability category for the conversion of BOF steel slag aggregate of Tata Steel Jamshedpur. So Mr. T.V. Narendran, Managing Director Tata Steel, was with us during that time. Now the third project which we are doing right now at the NS66 with JSW Steel. This is a Mumbai-Goa expressway, and on this particular section we are utilizing the processed Konark steel slag aggregate of JSW Dolvi plant. Around 90,000 ton processed steel slag aggregate so far we have utilized. One of the novel characteristic of this road is that, like, first time in the country we are utilizing 100% processed Konark steel slag aggregate in the construction of cement concrete road. And one of the major scientific breakthrough is that, like in case of conventional cement concrete where 460 kg quantity of cement is required, here we utilize only 430 kg slag cement. So in this particular road, besides the slag aggregate, we have slag cement for the construction of this road, sir. So this is the few achievements. Like in this particular domain, we have developed the customized steel slag valorization technology for different steel industries. We received a couple of appreciation letters for this particular work from the Honorable Member Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Saraswat, CEO AMNS India, MD Tata Steel Shri T.V. Narendran. And that's all from my side, sir. So now we just want to show you a scientific documentary on this steel slag road.
So thank you, Satish, for such a wonderful presentation and describing the entire technological and how those challenges were actually tackled in the laboratory. It was also mentioned that the technology developed, it has been actually implemented on the field, and a scientific documentary on India's first steel slag road has been prepared by CSIR-CRRI, now which we'd like to showcase to this August gathering. So I would play the documentary.
Globalization has opened the doors of economic development for so many countries. There is a serious concern regarding how far we are being able to save the environment without hampering its constituents. India holds world's second largest road network in terms of length. Roads are considered as lifeline of the nation and an important prerequisite to accelerate economic growth.
Roads serve as the lifeline of trade and economy. India holds world's second largest road network in terms of length. Besides that, under Government of India's ambitious road development,
Slag is generated. Most of the slag are dumped in the nearby areas of steel plants, which becomes the source of water, air and land pollution.
Steel slag is a major waste of steel industries. Currently, the total steel slag of different steel industries is around 19 million tons, which is expected to grow to 60 million tons per year in the year 2030. So CSIR-CRRI has taken up this R&D project sponsored by Ministry of Steel along with the 4 industrial partners: ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Rashtriya Ispat Limited, to develop steel slag road technology, where the steel slags of different blast furnaces are processed for the development of steel slag aggregates, which is used for road construction.
Every year, multi-billion tons of natural aggregates are used in the construction and maintenance of road network in the country. The idea of environmental conservation gains real momentum if refining process. The flux along with impurities form a semi-molten mass called slag that floats on the liquid steel in the steel making furnace. Slag is a mixture of oxides formed by silica, alumina, calcium, magnesium and iron predominantly. The purified metal is taken out from the bottom and slag is taken out from the top of the furnace. The molten slag at 1500 to 1600 degree temperature is poured into the slag pits for cooling. A customized cooling process is developed by CRRI to control and develop microstructure to slag that work as stable aggregates. Once cooled, the slag is crushed into smaller sizes. Large chunks are broken by balling crane, where large steel balls are dropped on the slag boulders to break them down. The finer slag is then passed through a metal recovery unit, where large magnets separate the entrapped metal pieces in the slag. The non-magnetic slag is then crushed and screened to various sizes based on application. Quality of the aggregate. X-ray diffraction analysis of processed steel slag aggregates is carried out for mineralogical phase identification and compositional analysis. Processed steel slag aggregates developed through controlled cooling process shows the crystalline phases as found in good quality natural aggregates obtained from igneous rock groups. Chemical composition of steel slag aggregates in oxide form is determined through wave dispersive X-ray fluorescence spectrophotometer. Processed steel slag aggregates are also tested using inductive coupled plasma mass spectrometry to rule out the possibility of any heavy metal leaching under adverse environmental conditions. TCLP study conducted using ICP-MS technique showed that processed steel slag aggregates are safe for various road applications. Physical and mechanical characteristics of steel slag aggregates are established through a variety of tests to assess its suitability as road construction material. The CSIR-Central Road Research is world-class testing facility for
traffic. For last CSIR-CRRI is monitoring its performance, and we found that this steel slag road is meeting all serviceability parameters as specified for national highway in India.
Processed steel slag aggregates offers better mechanical load resistance, impulse load of Of waste steel slag for road construction reduces pollution created by heaps of waste dumped near steel plants. The particles of steel waste also get into the air and even seep into the ground, reaching the underground water table.
For construction, maintenance and rehabilitation of road network, huge quantity of natural aggregates are required every year. This demand is meted out through the unsustainable quarrying of natural aggregates in many areas, leading to desertification and other serious
Lag in road infrastructures in order to promote the objectives set out by the Sustainable Development Goals to promote the circular economy and sustainable infrastructure. CSIR-CRRI's innovative first steel slag road in Surat, Hazira has further motivated us our vision for a greener India, for a sustainable India, for a rising India. Steel Slag Road. A sustainable green utilization of steel slag in road construction.
As they say, seeing is believing. This documentary clearly demonstrates the potential of this technology, and we are confident that this is going to have a big impact and big contribution to the waste to wealth mission of Government of India. I invite all the dignitaries to please come on the dais. We have a small e-release of the induction booklet of CRRI which has been prepared. So I request our chief guest sir to kindly inaugurate e-release the induction booklet of CSIR-CRRI. Sir, हाँ sir, इस पे sir यहाँ पे so then we can switch off this. Sir कहाँ पे? Just click there. Just here, sir. Full screen. Associated with Prime Minister's initiative as board member on Digital India Electronic Mission and Listen and Build Mission India 2047. He was instrumental in bringing the largest global mobile manufacturing facility in Noida by Samsung, which was inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister. Now I would request Shri Manu Kapoor to kindly deliver his address. Sir, please.
Respected Secretary, will enable us as AM&S to help in the development of an eco-friendly infrastructure, vision and the guidance of CRRI. Thank you CRRI for making it happen. This road is a shining example of Honorable Prime Minister vision of waste to wealth being realized through AM&S steel plant at Hazira for the utilization in via road construction. This 1 kilometer long 6-lane built on steel slag road connecting National Highway to Hazira Port is a testimony of great work being done by this institute where I am standing right now. This is remarkable achievement and lot of silent features. I would like to repeat some of them because they have already been picked up by the video which they have shown. Fourth, owning to the inherent benefits of processed steel slag materials in terms of improved strength and load resisting capacity, exhibiting better load resistance and durability in comparison to road brick to natural aggregates. Believe me, when you will go and drive down on this road, you can feel the pulse, what I am talking about. Sitting here, it may look like I am talking, but when you will drive down to that road, you can feel the work which has been done by this institute and contribution to this country. So, the way this place is appreciating the work of the institute, I can promise you that in future generation, the whole country will applaud like this. Fifth, in terms of bringing cost efficiency, the steel slag road has been proven to be 30 to 40% cheaper than the road built through natural aggregates. I would like to talk about the state of infrastructure development in India, how it's shaping the country's future. In particular, the government revolutionary initiative PM Gati Shakti, which is aimed at integrated economic and infrastructure development, improved trade competitiveness and promotion of export and employment generation in the country. This will play a pivotal role in infrastructure achieving India's goal for becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. In the last 8 years, India has achieved the feat of becoming the 5th largest economy from the 4th as it stands, leaving Britain behind. Even the recent study conducted by Morgan Stanley very clearly talks about that nobody in the world can stop India to become number 3 by 2027. In this Amrit Kal, where we are living today, the country is moving forward rapidly in path of development with the objective of developing India. And your contribution is absolutely fantastic in this. The path to development is multidimensional and it focuses on the needs and necessities of a common citizen and present a roadmap for advanced infrastructure. In conclusion, I believe that India's infrastructural development is poised to take country to new heights of economic growth and prosperity. We are well on our way to becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025, and we will all applaud the contribution done in development structure.
Several accolades to his credit. He has held sensitive assignments both at the central government and state governments of Jharkhand and Bihar. His previous assignments include Secretary, Department of Rural Development under Ministry of Rural Development. He was also the Secretary Border Management under Ministry of Home Affairs. He was Chairman National Highways Authority of India. He has worked as Managing Director NHIDCL. He was also the Additional Chief Secretary Rural Development under Government of Jharkhand. Besides Secretary, Principal Secretary in various departments of IT, road construction, industry, mines, among others. So now I would request our Chief Guest for his inaugural speech, sir. Please, sir.
Professor Parida, Directors, CSIR-CRRI, Mr. Manu Kapoor, the Corporate Senior Vice President, Dr. Ravindra Kumar, Dr. Pandey, ladies and gentlemen, today assembled here on the occasion of the National Science Day. So first of all, let me begin by paying my tributes to the eminent Indian scientist, the first non-white person to win a scientific Nobel in 1930. It's very special to remember because the life of Sir C.V. Raman holds several lessons to us. The first lesson that we draw from his life is the issue of the curiosity leading to scientific results. It is said that in 1921, when he was traveling to Europe, he observed the blue color of the ocean and the glaciers, And then that aroused curiosity in him to understand the reasons why it was happening. And that led to the discovery that was credited with the Nobel Prize. Another lesson that is also important for scientists of India. It is said that two Russian gentlemen, Grigory Landsberg and Leonid Mandelstam, they had observed this phenomena a week earlier. However, Sir C.V. Raman along with Dr. K.S. Krishnan, they were the first to report, and that is why they were awarded the Nobel Prize and not the other set of gentlemen. So, being curious, reporting them, taking credit wherever it's due is extremely important for the current bunch of scientists as it had been earlier, and let us not be found lagging behind in this aspect. Before I delve into this issue, I would like to recall another eminent scientist who was of British origin but became, why I am mentioning his name is because of on the Science Day it's important to remember the kind of scientific temper and the spirit of inquiry, the experimentation, the empiricism, etc. he brought to his own life and his own work. I am told that he drank dilute hydrochloric acid to understand what impact also all the scientific and technical manpower, but in fact of the need to always remain curious, need to always inquire about things, need to not accept things as they are, but to establish by ourselves, which has been the Indian tradition. It is not always a Western tradition. Indians have been experimenting with this kind of spirit of inquiry, search for truth. So it is with this kind of spirit that we should kind of again take pains to establish and remember that these are what should be characteristic of every Indian, and that is what will take the country forward in addition to the infrastructure. It's only with the good quality of human capital, the population that is always curious, that is always looking forward for improvement, that is how we will move forward with ever increasing speed, more sustainability. And I draw again inspiration from Article 51A of the Indian Constitution that mentions the fundamental duties, and it says to develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. So it in fact is responding with producing green energy, adapting to the climate change and things like that. The Indians will have to do it by themselves and therefore there is a need for India to spend more, and each one of the not only the public institutions, central government, state governments, but also the corporates, other parts of the Indian community need to spend more on the research and development. India has moved sufficiently ahead in the Global Innovation Index, and I am told that it has reached 40th rank in 2022 as compared to 66 in 2016. So that indeed is a gratifying achievement. Moving 26 ranks up is indeed a good thing, but we should not rest content. We are quite far behind in the global rankings. I am also told that the growth in patent approvals have increased by 571% from 2014 to 2021. That indeed is gratifying, but we need to also look at the per capita, not so very helpful. Third largest pool of scientific and technical manpower, of course, we possess. So there are indeed areas of achievement, but there are indeed many milestones, many areas where we need to move ourselves up, and there are institutions like yours, patrons like MNS and many others who have contributed to this activity, and ministries, all of them will need to come together to increase the expenditure on science and technology and its application in order to move ourselves up to have a more sustainable and a green future. There have been multiple issues which have already been spoken. I want to emphasize 2 or 3 things. One is that while the generation of the steel slag, whether EF route or through BOF route or through Konark route, is told to be about 15 to 20 million tons, but the fact remains that these had not been disposed for many years. So the stockpile on the premises of the many steel plants is 10 times, 20 times larger than that, and these are occupying huge area of plants, and that need to dispose them off as quickly as possible. Now I must also say that there are other areas of application of the steel slag that the ministry is working on, and one of them also happens to be its use as part of the soil conditioners, and that is also another potential area which will find a large application in addition to this. So my request to the CRRI is that the guidelines in this regard need to be prepared as early as possible. I don't think that should be such a difficult task that it cannot be done. Now let me take this opportunity of also calling your attention to one very important area that this ministry is trying to address, and it's very important, and everybody's role is important in this. At this moment, the carbon dioxide emission by steel plants is about 2.5 ton for every ton production of crude steel, and that is about 33% higher than what is being produced elsewhere while making of steel. Now this is an area of what is called an hard to abate carbon emission, but if we are to make headway in the direction that Honorable Prime Minister has shown to us, we need to make sufficient movement. Our ministry is working on this by promotion of not only the best available technology through use of pelletization, through occasion to not only complement each one of the industry partners and CSIR, CRRI, but also to tell them and request them that we must move towards more efficient utilization of the natural resources. These resources are not replaceable. For example, if you continue to mine about 5 to 10 billion tons of aggregate, the hills will vanish. As such, if you go to many parts of the country, I belong to state of Jharkhand, and I I'm aware that there are areas like Sahebganj and Pakur which are located on the northeastern part of the state of Jharkhand, and the aggregates there are of good quality and they are being mined extensively, and so the natural features are completely disappearing, and this is a loss of such not only the geographical feature and the attendant problems that it will bring in terms of the ecology, the plant species, the flora, fauna, the absorption of groundwater, the drainage characteristic, etc. So all these get affected, and therefore it's our aim to minimize the use and the draw on the natural environment. This indeed is a great achievement. CSIR-CRRI was, I'm told, also part of the initiative of the Ministry of Rural Development, which developed guidelines for use of the technology where which is called full depth reclamation. Thereby the drawl of the aggregates was brought down by another 40%. So and the quality of roads also improved. We also, while I was part of the Ministry of Rural Development, drew a set of guidelines which is called New Technology Vision documents of the guidelines of the 2022, where we prescribed and mandated that in the areas around the steel plants, you need to ensure that the roads there used either during construction or renovation or repair the steel slag, and this project would be of quite a good use. Now that this tie-up has been done with 4 of these steel majors, there are other plants not of the size of these majors but of smaller size. There also we need to quickly translate these researches so that they are also able to take advantage of this technology to process their slags and reduce the burden of stacking that they face currently or unscientific disposals that they do now. And I'm aware also, again coming from Jharkhand, that many of these sponge iron plants, what they used to do clandestinely is to dump their waste all around the road, and that was such a nuisance. So we need to work with all of them, and Ministry of Steel will need to coordinate with those steel players, the state governments and the CSIR-CRRI in order to ensure that this happens. So on this occasion I thank Professor Parida and his colleagues for inviting me to deliver this lecture, and I'm grateful for giving me this opportunity of sharing some of my thoughts. I once again call upon everyone to emulate the spirit of science, the spirit of inquiry, the scientific temper on this occasion, and make India as one of the
wonderful words of wisdom. As you rightly pointed out that curiosity leads to innovation, so I would like to share with you, sir, that we at CSIR-CRRI are curious to a significant level, but I promise you, sir, that we are going to raise our curiosity coefficient in the coming years and bringing in more innovations in the road sector. Also, we would bring the guidelines for the use of steel slag in the road construction very soon. So thank you, sir. Now this gives me immense pleasure to announce that the technology we have developed at CSIR-CRRI, we are entering into an agreement with AMNS India Steel for transfer of this developed know-how, which has already been successfully implemented in field. The agreement pertains to transfer of know-how for steel slag valorization technology for development of processed EAF steel slag aggregates at AMNS India Steel at Hazira for utilization in the road construction process. So may we now proceed for the signing of the transfer agreement document. Now that we have come towards the fag end of today's function, we would like to felicitate our esteemed guests. I request Director Sir to kindly present a shawl and memento to our chief guest. I now request Dr. Ravindra Kumar, Chief Scientist and Head ILT Division CSIR-CRRI, to kindly propose vote of thanks.
A warm and graceful good afternoon to our most valued Honorable Chief Guest, Shri N.N. media and everyone gathered here and those who have joined online. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks speech and acknowledge the contribution of those who have worked really hard to make this National Science Day celebration happen. I, Dr. Ravindra Kumar, on the behalf of CSIR-Central Road Research Institute and entire scientific fraternity of the institution, first of all, extend my deepest sense of appreciation to the Sir C.V. Raman, Indian physicist and renowned scientist, for which we are gathered here for making today's events a resounding success. National Science Day is celebrated every year in India on 28th of February to mark the discovery of Raman effect by Indian physicists. On this day, Raman effect is phenomena in which light undergoes a change in wavelength as it passes through a medium. National Science Day was first celebrated in India in 1987. Since then, it has been celebrated every year with the aim of promoting scientific temper, encouraging scientific innovation in the country, and theme for the National Science Day changes every year and is chosen by the Government of India. On the behalf of Institute, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Chief Guest N.N. Sinha sir, and who has given the inaugural address and also given an insight how the scientists can work, how the technical staff can work in the hardship, what are the challenges they can face, and also he has reminded about the fundamental duty of Articles 51, and also he has thrown many of the challenges which are happening in the field for the conversion of sustainable development of the country. I also appreciate the speech of Dr. Shri Manu Kapoor, Head Corporate Affairs, who has spared time from his busiest schedule to grace this occasion. He has also enlightened on the how we can boost our economy to convert the waste to wealth, and he has given the how we can do the future application of processed EF steel slag valorization technology for road making aggregate. Sir, your thoughts have enlightened our mind and have shown us new path. My gratitude to all the speakers for the gracing this occasion and sharing their opinion. I am immensely thankful to Shri Satish Pandey, CRRI, for his effort towards this today developing the CSIR technological initiative of steel slag roads and steel slag valorization as a road aggregate making. I also extend thanks to all the team members of Steel Slag for their enormous cooperation within this organization of these events. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheel started rolling week ago. It requires planning, bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by the team of Steel Slags, scientists, staff, administration, team of ILT, guest house, canteen, finance, purchase, PME, CCN, who have proactively given to support to this excellent job. I am short of words for their involvement and their willingness to take on completion of tasks beyond their comfort zone. A special mention to our respected Professor Manoranjan Parida, Director CRRI, for being the catalyst that stimulated us to do our best and standing as a pillar of strength. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our loving Director for his untiring effort. I would like to thank the people who have worked behind the scene to make this event happen. Our technical arrangement team for setting the stage, lighting, live streaming, adoring this stage, making the arrangement, housekeeping by the ESD Horticulture CCN. Our sincere gratitude goes to all the stakeholders from the steel industry who have joined here for signing the technological transfer agreement with MNS India. And this is a rock solid support system and encouragement. Without your support and our R&D, we have not been able to achieve excellence, sir. Thank you so much for attending this event and doing this transfer. Finally, I would like to thank our comparing team, Dr. Abhishek Mittal, Head FPD. He has made this event very joyful with his massive, impressive choreo. Your days of hard work were evident in your act. All the programs were very good and were enjoyed by each of us who are present here. Last but not the least, a big thank you to each one of you who has made this National Science Day celebration memorable for all of us. On the behalf of Institute, let me thank all the staff and the students. Our students are not only good at academic, but also good in experimenting the science. Raman effect technique is widely used in field of such as chemistry, biology and material science. Many of the students are witness of this. National Science Day serve as a platform to promote scientific education and awareness in the country and encourage the young mind to pursue the career in science and technology. We value you and every moment that you stay here in this temple of learning of the events. Thank you very much once again to all for patient hearing the lectures and attending the events. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You have thanked everyone, but forget to thank yourself. So I formally thank you, sir, for proposing this vote of thanks. And with this, we formally close this function in the auditorium, and we now move towards the Center for Research on Steel Slag for the inauguration of our test facility, that is heavyweight deflectometer.
Refreshment will be served to the division. Those who are
the refreshments would be served in the respective divisions. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.